Hi. I hope that your previous week, from whenever it is that you're watching this live stream, went well. I hope that I hope that you're experiencing internal peace from the realization of the amount of control you have over your life and what you possibly don't, and just settling in the acceptance of that. I have some notes this time around. I just felt like trying to return to that to be more organized, as I also feel on top of that, on top of the desire to feel organized, I also feel that we are in really incredible energetic times. I was thinking today that it feels like there's some like fast pace, something fast happening, like the machine of our lives is speeding up. The universe and the way it's processing information is also increasing. What the gaps in between things where it was normally empty is now filled with emotion, tenseness, excitement, just lots of really unpredictable energy and lots of really prime opportunity to practice your truest state of vulnerability and openness. Lots of chances to just rewrite, hey? Just do something different do something different in response to a scenario that usually happens, maybe usually pisses you off, makes you sad or angry. Choose a different reaction to that, see how it feels. And I think doing that, there's more encouragement to do that. And in doing that, that is where the rewriting happens, almost like everything everywhere all at once. If you get me, you get me. So the notes I have here, the first one is that we are in for a very hectic end of the year. The clues to this are across the board, coming from spiritual intuitives who aren't aware of astrology, confirmed by astrologists themselves as well, confirmed by the general astronomy with the interstellar bodies that are present, comets and the likes, and confirmed as well with the solar flares. The sun apparently has if I understand this correctly, it's a newly developed sunspot that happens to also be on the side of the sun that faces the earth. And it's been doing a lot of things lately. I will link the video to the explanation of that in the description. Very, very exciting times and nothing to be afraid of. I've put that in the notes here as well. So I will probably end up repeating it later, but as of right now, while it's right there for me to mention, please don't be afraid. Don't be drawn to panic. Don't give in to it. And also be aware of any forms of like row, beware of people trying to trigger you into extreme states of emotion in which you will be more liable to manifest an unwanted outcome. Beware of the emotion of anger and resentment. And jealousy is a random one, but I don't know if that's something that we deal with commonly, especially with our journey for self. But anyway, just in case that happens, maybe someone directs the frequency of jealousy towards you. And anxiety. Try to release the future, fear of the unknown, all of that stuff. The sooner we can get to the root of fixing that, just to say find a state of acceptance, the better. The second point I have here is live in your own world. And this came just before, well, actually all the points. I did this whole list just before I went on here. But this live in your own world statement came literally just before I opened this streaming app. I got the sense of the person. I'm sure we've all had that person in our life, or we are that person. More likely we are that person who has commonly been described as someone who lives in their own world. You tend to, or the frequency of that person who tends to confuse people. Always seem to be like kind of spaced out, not focused. Almost like they're gullible, but also they always happen to be like okay, Pisces placements 12th house placements, possibly Virgo, Libra, Leo, but like with a little bit of a calmer version. Leos are very eccentric. They tend to be. Not all Leos are, obviously. But that frequency, just that general frequency where the romanticizing frequency. But I'm getting more the sensation of like really, what is the word? What is the word I'm looking for? Phasing out everything that doesn't really pertain to the kind of future that you want or the kind of experience you want to have. Phasing those stuff out and only focusing and being in whatever you want the moment to be, whatever moment you're creating for yourself, and get as intentional as that. Learning how to view life as that experience where it's something you're creating for yourself, the power of which is stored within your perceptions and the way you choose to go about things. We've learned, I think, enough about the like level one intellectualization part of that theory idea. And I feel as the weeks go by, especially towards the end of the year, we are facing the need to practically apply it and actually do the thing of believing in God, having hope in your future, believing that you are the creator of your own reality, believing in your magic and your unique energetic blueprint, believing your effect on your environment and on the people you love, believing in the power of prayer, of energy work. All the energy work that you've been studying, I'd assume for years now, is due for its practical application for real, so that you can get feedback and you're able to integrate it in real time, in much quicker time than you have in the past, because of the work that you've done so far. This isn't something I've mentioned, but I'm feeling now to bring up the fact that I'm also feeling into a 2025 roundup. It feels like we're very ready to say goodbye to this year. And with these last few months coming up, and I find this part funny, that we are kind of going, okay, speed up. Okay, 25. Thank you, 2025. Bye. And 2025 kind of keeps going, but wait, I have something. No, but wait, there's also still something. Oh, but and and it seems like as we're trying to say bye, we keep being shocked by all these little 2025 factors that are kind of like finishing off. It feels like this year really wants to finish with a bang, and we can all feel that, and we're going, can you just not, please? and the year 2025 is going, but I'm gonna anyway. And we kind of just have to sit and, so that's the sense of the thing I was talking about when I described you not needing to be afraid or like in fear, but know that the show isn't over. and we can't rush the show. And no matter how much we hate it, no matter how much we hate the cast and the acting and the script and everything, we have to sit through the shit, because there's going to be really cool twists. And I'm cool is the word. Very cool, fascinating, interesting, mind-blowing. Just wow. It feels like by the end of the year, majority of us are going to be sat with this expression on our face. And whatever transpires to the end of this year is going to be a very integral part for what's to come next year, and the changes that we're due to go through, and the experiences that we have been very excited to have, even if we don't know what they are. And then the third point I have, urgent cleanup by the universe. There are blockages you're unaware of, things causing energetic walls you didn't know were built. And I think this has to do with the very obvious messaging of karmic clearings, endings, beginnings, whatever. But I think that what is missing from the general rhetoric of that, although true, is the fact that is the energetic understanding of why it is these karmic clearings and beginnings are occurring. I think that it's important for us to lens this experience through the fact that we are working on the energy level of having energetic, like, objects, I guess, just because I don't know what else to call them. These energetic objects that are in our field and are affecting the overall health of our energetic frequencies, so that they act as like kind of like a nail in a pore, or like a giant boulder in a river where it affects the flow. You know, where on one side the river's flowing very fast, and on the other side it's going trickling very slowly. That's kind of what's happening with our energetic transmissions via our manifesting and stuff, where internally lots of things moving fast, the energy is moving fast, but then externally, by the time it reaches some point in our energetic body, there's some kind of trickling, a very slow flow. And the universe is going to take this time now, I believe, in the last few months of this year, possibly beginning from the following week that you are watching this live, or the week thereof, depends. But I think very soon the universe is going to come and pick the boulder up and just literally bloop, it's just shifted away, and then suddenly woof, you know. And I think it's something that some of us may even feel physically, like we're going to start to feel physically different. Maybe you may experience a kind of energy surge. I think that in part is what happens a lot of the time when we feel energy surges at random times of the day or at night, when we're super exhausted at night and then we're very awake. No, super exhausted during the day and then very awake at night with pumping all these ideas and energy and stuff. I think it has to do with that kind of energetic flow and understanding of the way that our bodies work. And I think that that is going to be worked on a lot, not just towards the end of this year, but I think throughout this future we're building. I've mentioned this in previous readings, the relationship between your internal world and your outer world, and the way that things play out physically is going to start being very linked in very obvious ways, where the telepathy and divine consciousness, But I think that just I feel like it is important to remove ourselves just a little bit from the esoteric. Well, esoteric, technically it's science, but I think that it would be helpful to start considering these things in terms of the scientific facts that were literally given to us in school. You know, start from the ground up. I think a lot of foundation work is going to be important. We're going to have to revisit a lot of like beginner's chakra study, beginner's meditation, beginner's yoga, all of that stuff, just to, I think, like solidify whatever these new realities are that we're building for ourselves that have to do with these esoteric studies that were previously denied or commodified extremely or whatever, and that are now in this future we're heading into it's going to be more normalized. It's going to be more of a very standard conversation that that you got flu this week because you're processing a generational curse that just showed up for you. You know what I mean? It's going to be very standard language. It may sound ridiculous now, going to be very, very, very usual in the future. And I think that we are anchors of that reality where it's going to be normalized through us. We have to believe it, you know, we have to know it, we have to understand it, we have to live that relationship of your energetic body to your life and the way you experience it. Then I have the children in your life. Pay attention to everything about them, their tantrums, random babbles. There are clues everywhere. This was very random. I'm just feeling the sense that God, divine consciousness, your ancestors, whoever, your soul, is going to, your future self. There are so many ways to look at this. But either way, you're going to get very solid communication, clues, synchronicities, etc. And the thin veil, all of that. It feels like there's going to be a lot more intentional communication, spiritual communication. Then the last one I have is, and I think it links to what I've said, what I've just mentioned regarding the spiritual communication, just to make sure that you're a good conduit for the things that are trying to make their way into your life and change your life and affect the grid. Clear your aura daily. Add cleansing to your daily ritual or prayers of protection and cleansing, or showering with salt, washing with a salt mix, or praying over the water as you clear yourself of it, or praying over the water you drink in the morning and intending on that to be a wash, a balm for your spiritual body. Whatever works for you, just make sure that you're doing it as part of your standard. I think that it can be easily taken for granted the importance of, or how powerful it is to cloak yourself. I think that we've all been, I guess, in modern times, capitalism and also just the need to survive, especially that has just grown bigger this year. We're also drawn to go and like, I'm getting this like movement, yeah, a sense of urgency. We all have a growing sense of urgency for something. I don't know. But I think in that drive, in that Martian energy, we're forgetting, it's easy to forget about the cloaking, the covering, the stillness, all I keep recalling is that action of cloaking, covering, huddling. The idea of how an individual, how a team, or I don't even know, a group of peoples bunched together to protect themselves. Protection in general. I think that it's an underrated prayer because we're all, it's just underrated. So please consider keeping up with your prayer, your protection prayers and spells and rituals and whatever. And those are all the notes that I have. I'm going to pull cards now. Oh, and I just want to mention lies, that's something that's I felt called to mention that it came in and out. Please be aware of people who are lying to themselves right now. It's something that comes up often. People that are lying to themselves, please be aware of people who are lying to you. Although I don't think that's something you have to worry too much about, because I believe that should there be an occurrence where someone lies to you, it won't be a matter of something that's your problem. If someone lies to you about something, so long as it doesn't affect the way you move and what you could have done, what you could have or couldn't have done, then it doesn't matter. It more matters about their integrity. And I think anyone lying right now, still in a phase of doing so, God bless you, man. God bless you if you're still struggling with like trying to be authentic and truthful. It is a sincere, I mean it sincerely, God bless you. It is a real tough struggle, especially for millennials and the previous generations. There's something about us and shame, man, that's really, really passing right now and leaking and green and infected. And I'm sorry to go that deep in terms of how grotesque the description is, but it does feel that way. It does feel like it's the shame wound in all of our energetic bodies, the millennials plus. It's making us sick. It's making us all sick. And I think that if you are someone born in that age group, if you're with me, girl, okay? Girl, that's all I've got. Shame is such a personal wound. I could have all my advice about it, but I think that it's especially pestering to deal with right now in a generation where, in the TikTok age and the social media age, where you're seeing every day people just being themselves. People are being themselves. They're not lying. They're just doing shit, and they're making livings and securing generational wealth by being themselves, by being shameless. And then there's us who's still processing that. Like, it's difficult. And I think that it's difficult to even talk about, because that in itself is shameful. Like, it's embarrassing to look at someone so young and so seemingly energetically developed. Their ego is straight on. They accept themselves for who they are. They may have even been more traumatized than you, but look at them. They have their head held high. They are shameless. And we've still got our shoulders hunched, and we're still scared to do things, and we're still scared to be ourselves. Oh, it's been real. And it's been real to watch other people process that. It's been real to watch our parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts process that and be weird. Oh my God. Anyway, let me not. Point is, okay, it's time to deal with the shame frequency. Those of us who are part of my age group, please, we need to wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to pull cards now. See what comes up for the week. That is what I have, not just pertaining to the week, but to the future ahead. I do still stand 10 toes on the fact that there's a lot to be excited about for the future. Oh, and I think I don't know if I put, there's this instance I put somewhere. Oh, yes, I didn't read this, along with the first part where I said it's going to be a very hectic end to the year. I said, do not be afraid. Be ready, stay ready by being yourself, by being authentic. That is the way to stay ahead of all of this, is to just be true to yourself. And that includes and is especially linked with the frequency of shame. I've actually been trying to sit with K-pop Demon Hunters. It's one of those, I'm very averse to trends, not for anything other than the fact that I just like to experience things by myself, and I am very easily influenced. So if I experience a trend as it happens, I'm more than likely to go online, more than likely to contact people who are talking about it, and then I follow their opinions and da-da-da. That's just me. Very ex-people pleasy, still trying to heal from it, da-da-da-da. Anyway, I am trying to find my way through K-pop Demon Hunters, which is a big trend right now still. But in experiencing some of the storyline, it is so worth it. And I've gotten to a part where the main antagonist mentions to the people that he's working with that there's this girl, the protagonist, who has some of what we have as antagonists. And they labeled that as shame. And I thought it was incredible that they made that reference, especially during a time when, like I've said, we all seem to be dealing with it, especially our age group. I think our age group should look into watching that. A lot of the children's movies are laced with some stuff that our age group, millennial plus, we really needed it. Like, we needed these movies as kids. If we had these movies as kids instead of these weird little fairy tales, Princess Prince, da-da-da-da, we would have turned out to be... our future would have been extremely different. Who we turned out to be would have been extremely different. And I think it's been very healing for my inner child to get into the kids stuff, the current stuff for the youth, the cartoons, Dipopai. They've got so much gems, man. Bluey, girl, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Anyway, let me get to shuffling. Just before I read these cards, I've just remembered as well another frequency that I wanted to throw in there. I felt called to just congratulate us as a group of peoples, as a collective who are keeping up with our shadow work and our dark work. I'm feeling into waves of awakening into the future of people like only just waking up to how dark the world can be and how dark people's living experiences can be. Some of us, many of us, likely all of us, have processed kinds of darkness, shades of darkness that we may not have experienced externally, but we have processed and faced within ourselves. That is big, big work, big deal. Please understand and know, Bragging rights. Yes, absolutely. You've got bragging rights for doing all the shadow work that you've done and for touring the underworld. You know, every corner and every pit. And you're willing to get to know more. You're not afraid of the dark now, and it's brilliant. And keep up the good work. Awkward saying that because like I'm saying it to myself, but yeah, let's keep it up. So we have the Four of Cups. We have the Three of Discs. And we have the Seven of Discs. I'm immediately getting into the frequency of somebody, random channelings now, somebody who may have recently resigned or changed. You recently resigned or you've recently made the decision to change course in life and you're not entirely sure about which way to go. Or you don't know, you may have made some kind of career decision or some kind of material decision that you are not sure about anymore. You thought you were sure, but you are not anymore. Something that mattered to you a lot doesn't matter so much to you anymore, and you're trying to understand why. You're not making any moves yet, possibly feel deeply pressured by this time that you're taking. This is, I think, sorry, these channelings are kind of blending into each other. So that you may resonate with the first part of the sentence and not the second, or you may, pick up stompies, whatever. I'm getting the sense of somebody laying still, looking over at the decisions they have likely recently made, and trying to understand more about it. And as such, you're still. And something about this stillness is, I'm not feeling into any pressure actually, which is great. Congratulations. This is it. It's always difficult to take the decision to not do anything. I think because as humans, we're so naturally inclined to movement and doing stuff, and also the system, right? Stillness is not encouraged. Trying to see if there's anything else that comes up regarding these three cards together. I can feel that there's something else, but I'm not finding clearly what it is. But I am getting a sense of dissatisfaction. I'm getting a willingness to, like, taking stock of the year. Maybe it has been a really, really shitty year. And you're trying to, there's a separate frequency, you're trying to understand, you're trying to take stock and understand why. And you're trying to rewrite and do differently about whatever this year was about. Very random energy to come up. But I think this is important. This may be important because of what's to come regarding the answers that arise, regarding what you're looking at, regarding what the elements are of this horizon. Like, you don't know what you're looking at. It's going to become clearer to you. And this clarity is going to help you understand what the next moves are. Be patient with yourself, essentially. The answers will reveal themselves. You are not wrong for staying still. You are not crazy for feeling dissatisfied or a little bit despondent or apathetic, or just like you're just not stimulated or excited. I'm getting the sense of a lack of something to look forward to, even making plans with friends or like a cute little night out or whatever. It's all just seeming very like bleh. Like it's just, yeah, something's not fitting. Something's not fitting, What are we looking at here? I wonder what this is about, though. When this card comes up as well, I always think of gratitude list, doing that daily, doing that moment to moment even. Anytime you find yourself in periods of apathy or depression, drop everything and rewire your brain to remember to be thankful for something. Negate or push against every feeling of negativity or a low by just finding something to be grateful for. It builds up over time. It really does. Okay. Cool. Okay, before I got into this reading, I also got a really random sense of the fact that there's some kind of like, there is a secret to be revealed about something that that was constricting you, constraining you, suppressing you, something that was holding you tightly in one space, or that may still be doing so. There's something about that, something about why that's happening in your life is important, but you will not be privy to why until the answer for that is ready. Like there's a lot at play here. It feels all internal. Sorry, we also got the One of Rods and the One of Swords, which is to me a very incredible signal of potential. And like I'd said, is if you feel like you're in a period of inertia or stagnancy, please know that it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing. It's very intentional. Even this feeling of dissatisfaction that you may be dealing with or apathy, very, very intentional. You really are taking stock of everything right now with a lot of purpose. And yeah, shout out to you for doing that, because not a lot of people can stay still enough to notice. But you're noticing, you're seeing things. I'd recommend something mind stimulating, but that can actually get stuff out. These two together give me journaling or stream consciousness writing, where you keep a pen and paper by you during your rest and you wake up and just write some shit down without thinking. I'm getting pen and paper. I'm getting the action of pen and paper here. I'm also getting maybe meditating and then keeping a pen and paper by your side during that time, and then streaming thoughts right after meditation without thinking. I'm getting the necessity to speak your truth. So if there's something that you've been holding back on, maybe whatever it is, there may be something in your mind that whatever it is that's keeping you still or apathetic, whatever's on your mind that you're working on, I think it would do you surprising help to speak about it and let someone know how you're feeling. Oh, okay. I got the suggestion of using ChatGPT, but I don't use ChatGPT. And I don't really want to, I'm not sure about encouraging that considering the environmental applications of using AI. But I mean, it's happening. And I actually saw an astrologer really bluntly mention how necessary it is to just get used to it, get used to using AI and ChatGPT. Regardless of whatever it does to the environment, it's useful and it's going to help you. That was her point. And I heard her. Also, man, nobody wants to be heard in the earth. Anyway, I'm getting as well that this maybe no secrets revealed, but it is like a reworking of an internal mindset. I'm getting revelations regarding mental health patterns, something about a breakthrough of that happening. Therapy, book a therapy session if that's something you are into, if that's something you do. Yeah, that's all I have. The moon is giving me something's happening on the 21st, and I've forgotten what it is. Is it a new moon? It's happening in tropical Libra. But whatever that is. Okay, so fine. Look out for the 21st of October. But the week of is very important. The 29th of October will be when 3i Atlas, I think, will be in a super conjunction with what? With the sun and the earth, actually. Yeah, with the sun and the earth. So I think that week will be very important for all of us as a species. Very light reading for this coming week. Very calm. I'm getting such a sense of peace, of external peace for the sake of processing and working through internal chaos. But also the internal chaos itself, it feels like it's not chaotic. I've peeked at the wheel beneath the deck. which I actually think is the overall theme for the remaining months. I think that this is very, very much the vibe right now. It's going to be the overarching theme. Where it used to be the devil. I think we were in the devil phase not so long ago. I'm getting the wheel. With the wheel, I'm getting things like the strength card or the sun. The strength card and the sun and judgment, the star, Wonderful vibes, really things that we've been working very, very hard for. We've been working very hard. It seems like you yourself also working very hard to become a certain kind of person. It feels like maybe you a truth seeker. Yeah. You're somebody who's been seeking truth or seeking to be a truthful person, seeking your true self, free from whatever collective consciousness that binds you, free from maybe family programming, generational curse, whatever. I actually had a dream about that. The curse, that's what it was referenced in my dream. Something to do with that meme that circulates that says the curse has been lifted, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to leave this in the middle and then shuffle for one more closing card. Yeah, like I say, very calm vibes. I don't feel like there's anything more to add or to come with, and I don't feel to mention anything that might be helpful that you aren't already doing or that you can't find within yourself. At some point, you seem to, feels like there'll be a lot more power at your disposal. Lots more than I think you'd expect at this point in time, considering how it seems you're very focused on this cup, which is reasonable. I don't want to dog on anyone for being a little down these days. It's tough. It's real, rather, not tough. We can do anything. We can do tough things. It's real. Closing card. Okay, we have the Two of Swords and the Six of Cups. And then we have the Lovers beneath the deck. Oh, and the World. Oh my God, in the Tower. Oh, girl, and the Hangman. That's 4 major arcana cards in a row. And then the Wheel as the overall. Hold on. Okay. I'm getting the frequency of adulting. Of specifically of adulting is tough and trying to find your feet in that. Trying to regulate in that, although it's very tough because it seems that you may be going through a period of nostalgia for childhood or specifically for the child experience. For the experience of being a child and being oblivious and carefree versus the responsibilities that you feel you have to show up for, that you feel may be weighing you down. Okay, stories coming. This card also speaks of gratitude in the moment. Just by the way, having presence. This card speaks of gratitude via my own programming, not via what's interpreted in the deck. This card directly speaks of being grateful for the present moment. So yeah, lots of gratitude obviously coming through here. With these two cards together as well, I also feel called to congratulate you, shout you out for your dedication to the journey, to the work, for your dedication to the work. It's not easy trying to stay present and trying to be grateful for what you have, even if on some level sometimes you feel like you really want more than what you have. You're working with what you've got very, very well. I feel called to revisit the Two of Swords. I don't remember when last I read the interpretation in one of my readings. We have use of the intellect for growth and transformation, which I think this card speaks of in the same sense. And the one and the Two of Swords is pretty awesome, pretty aligned. I love those. I love when that happens in a reading. Creation of a powerful idea. again. Opposing forces that can be harnessed for good or evil. Convergence and conflict resolution. I think that has to do with these two cards here. So I guess if you've been feeling into the frequency of apathy and just general exhaustion and like you have nothing to look forward to, you can expect that feeling to alleviate soon from when you watch this. And shout out, because that was work that you were doing through that apathy and feeling all those emotions and feeling stagnant. You may be moving from a very exhausting week where you show up to work and you feel like you can't do much, you're not very productive. Work being done. With these two cards, it emphasizes the breaking free from a collective bind, from a generational curse of some kind, from some kind of psychological repetition that you found other people in your family struggling to break from. You break free from that and are therefore able to manifest better for yourself. Congratulations on that work too. This, what I'm mentioning just now, is not a weak thing. It's not something that like you're going to come to and realize within, it may not be something you come to realize in the 7 days that you watch this, in the week after, wherever, but just trust that at some point in the future, this will be something that the gratitude of the work, of the inner work that you do, will be something that you hold dear. And that will be made obvious to you by your universe, your ancestors, whoever you work with. I'm getting the sense of here, I'm remembering the rubber band reference, the one where when you are so close to the new stage, you're so close to a kind of newness that there may be some past triggers that try to pull you back. So it's like I'd mentioned earlier, some scenarios that repeat themselves, low vibrational scenarios that repeat themselves, that are doing so to give you a chance to choose something different versus what you would usually choose before, possibly of giving into victimhood, focusing on the spilt milk, this reaction to the shitty things that happen, it will change. It's giving you an opportunity to rewrite. So be aware of that. Be aware of any triggers that come up in the future from whenever it is that you watch this video. Know that they're happening so that you get a choice. This card also speaks of choice between autonomy or staying locked into a collective mind, way of thinking, which isn't always a bad thing. Just by the way, it may be something that you still need to, it's not up to, sometimes the go-arounds of the cycle is necessary for us to repeat. Some cycles, yes, I need to say, some cycles are necessary to repeat. Some cycles aren't done with you. Some kinds of karma just aren't quite cleared yet, but trust they will be in their own time. It's just not always up to you, Trying to tap into any last patterns. There's something that I read on the last reading that I did. I don't remember which last reading it was, but regarding relationships and the possibility of being caught in a kind of relationship that doesn't feel expansive for you right now. That's something that's coming up as well, just in case you didn't see that, or in case you need that reminder that it may be that you are due to clear some relationships and connections, either with people or a workplace or a way of thinking. Something about it needs to change. Needs to change. That's all I've got. Yeah. Overall, it really feels like it's going to be such a peaceful time of inner processing, working, rewriting, and preparing, really, considering the 4 Arcana cards that came out one after the other like that. It does feel like we are preparing for some major shifts, I mean, there's always a shift, right? Always major shifts. Always releasing old karma. Always trying to break the curse, whatever. Just, at this point, I think really what always matters is just to live your life. Just live your life. Make sure you're always yourself. Lead with as much love as you can that is true to you in each moment. But also, I'll never, be a hater if you need to be a hater. Do what you need to do. You know what I mean? It's your life. It's your world. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And God bless. I'll see you in the next live stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you, always and forever. At this point, it is really something that keeps me afloat to do this, regardless of who tunes in or who doesn't. So thank you, really, if you do. And yeah, all my love.